Welcome back to the channel. You know what's kind of cool? A good fit. Alright, chill. I know it's not to talk about character design and outfits, but I swear this one's pretty interesting. I feel like we really live in a time where there's a lot of yearning of aesthetics that have come and gone, and that's on top of the trends that are already swarming the globe. Even with that, it's cool to compare these same fashion styles of the past to current trends. So many different series we really like put a lot of time and effort into their character designs, but specifically their outfits. Sometimes it might fly under the radar, but being able to really dissect it is cool, and it gives you an idea of the artist's approach towards certain choices. I think a good example is how many mangakas are super fashion driven. You can 100% see it in their work too, and how they might portray their characters in real-world clothing rather than their usual anime armor or attire. Trends of the past are able to be shown in full form through their art, and it makes characters feel more relatable, real, and nuanced. It's no wonder that some of the biggest mangas in the world have multiple big brand collaborations with clothing brands. Being the one with the pen and understanding your characters inside and out has allowed these artists to give us some of the craziest fit checks ever seen. And these aren't even the actual fashion mangas who delve into this type of stuff. On the side of gaming, it's cool how you can see trends happen in real time, and we're able to look back and see how artists interacted with them. Tetsuya Nomura's fashion sense is something that has evolved over time, and you can see it with his work. Early Kingdom Hearts was a series with so much of that early 2000s edge and streetwear design, and being able to see it now in 2025, when Nomura designs these characters with a much more modern look and darker colors, is something awesome. You can see the evolution of the fashion in Nomura's art, because it really shines in these art pieces. You know what's unironically another good example? Fortnite. The blend of their diverse artistry mixed with an insane amount of fashion inspo and designs is something truly fantastic to see. There's like genuinely so many different fashion trends, pieces, and styles in Fortnite that utilize modern clothing, retro inspiration, using hair as an accessory. It's so much, and it's awesome. And in terms of gaming, this isn't even the peak of stylization and creation. Character customization is something that is widespread and always welcome because of how expansive it can be and how free it allows the player to feel. The thing is, this all helps with making a good character design too. If you remember in the beginning, I said we're going to talk about fashion and character design. Being able to recognize trends, styles, and an outfit can help to point out a character's relatability, individuality, and creativity. A good character design is one that can also tell a story visually, and fashion definitely helps emphasize that. Sometimes you just know a character is going to be the villain because their attire is something that feels evil. Dark colors, design on the clothing like insignias, or even colors that oppose pre-established characters is a design choice that sparks that thought in your head. And so for actual character design, I'll let her take it away.
Hey y'all, my name is Virsco, and I am a TikTok content creator with a focus on fashion games such as Dress to Impress. I know Dress to Impress is like very fashion oriented and stuff like that. However, I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to talk to you about the more artistic side of character design. I studied animation and game design in college, and one of the most important lessons I learned is that character design is never just about aesthetics. It's a form of storytelling. Whether you're looking at video games, animated films, comics, or even live action movies, character design shapes how we understand a character before they ever speak. At first glance, we're already forming assumptions about their personality, their role in the story, and whether or not we should trust them. Character design is a visual shorthand. It communicates information quickly, clearly, and often subconsciously. Humans are wired to read visuals fast. In a matter of seconds, we categorize characters as heroes, villains, sidekicks, or even threats. This is why design choices matter so much. The silhouette of a character, the way their clothing hangs on their body, the colors they're associated with, all of these elements work together to tell us who this character is supposed to be. Even when we don't actively notice it, we feel it.
These same notes are taken into account when designing the fashion of these characters. It's known that we're going to focus on the character's appearance first before anything, so a lot of the time we see designs that are emboldened by specific fashion choices. Specific clothes and designs bring out certain ideas that the designer wants to convey. Is the character supposed to be elegant? They might be drifted to something that's a perfect fit, or very flowy and aesthetically pleasing, or even just something that seems to be made with quality fabric. Is the character themselves someone fashionable? They'll stand out from the rest of the cast, with unique sets of clothes and cool stylizations of different clothing pieces.
Good character design guides the audience's perception without needing exposition. It tells us who someone is before the story has to explain it. Every aspect of a character's appearance is carefully planned. The shape of their clothing can imply status, confidence, or chaos. Their color palette can signal warmth, danger, mystery, or innocence. And even their proportions can suggest strength, vulnerability, or agility. In animation and games especially, realism is often sacrificed for clarity. Characters aren't designed to look like real people. They're designed to be readable. And this is where shape language becomes one of the most powerful tools in character design. Okay, so what is shape language? Shape language is the idea that basic shapes carry emotional meaning, and we subconsciously associate those meanings with characters. Rounded shapes tend to feel soft, friendly, approachable, and characters built with these soft shapes and circles often come across as kind or innocent, safe, emotional, or even nurturing. And this is why protagonists, mascots, and gentle characters often have rounded silhouettes or soft facial features. Square shapes feel stable and grounded and reliable. Characters designed with blocky or rectangular forms often read as strong, dependable, stubborn, or protective. These shapes are frequently used for mentors or tanks or characters meant to feel solid and unmovable.
It's obvious how important shape language is when you see how many times character-based games create characters that you perfectly know what they're going to be and what class type they're going to fall under. Almost all the time you see the big square-shaped character and think, yeah, that's a tank. That's 100% going to be a tank.
And then we have triangles, and triangles and sharp angles feel dangerous, aggressive, or unpredictable. And a lot of characters with these silhouettes often appear villainous, intimidating, cunning, or, high energy or chaotic. And this is why antagonists and morally questionable characters are often designed with pointed features, angular armor, or even sharp clothing lines. In real life, people aren't exaggerated, but characters are. Exaggeration isn't a flaw of character design, it's a feature. It helps clarify personality and intent instantly, especially in visual mediums where the audience needs to understand characters quickly. Large eyes can emphasize emotion, broad shoulders can suggest power, long, sharp silhouettes can create unease, and the more stylized the medium, the more important exaggeration becomes. When I'm introduced to a new character, I don't just see who they are, I start noticing why they look the way they do. It makes analyzing character design feel instinctive instead of being surprised by a character's role in the story. When a character design is done well, it works invisibly. The audience doesn't stop to analyze it, they just understand. Design reinforces narrative. It supports themes, relationships, and emotional beats without ever needing dialogue. And when the character design is done poorly, the audience feels confused or disconnected, even if they can't explain why. Character design is often the first interaction we have with a story. Before the plot unfolds, before dialogue begins, before world building is explained, design speaks first. It tells us who matters, who we should fear, and who we should root for. Good character design doesn't just make characters memorable, it makes stories readable.